Over the summer, the Texas Education Agency, commonly referred to as TEA, has made changes to the accountability system on how schools are rated. We wanted to know what the new standards are and how they will have an effect on McKinney High School. McKinney High School Principal, Dr. Paula Kent.
So the accountability system is changing. Some of it we know, some of it we do not know yet. We thought we would have our accountability rating last week or week before last, actually, and the state actually pushed it out and is not giving us ratings just yet. So the part we know, and is a part that will negatively impact this campus for a couple of years because it's already been done, and that is the change in college, career, military readiness. And so that has always been a big portion of the accountability rating, but the amount that it took to get an A was that 65% of your student body in their senior year would be have to have a CCMR indicator. And so what are the indicators? The indicators are things like a certain score on TSIA, a certain score on SAT, ACT, so college entrance exams. If you get a 3 or better on your or on any of your AP exams, that would show college and career readiness. If you got either your English credit or your math credit through dual credit or 9 hours combined, you could get an indicator. Obviously joining the military. So there's just kind of a list of things. There's also industry-based certifications. We have some of those, things like the nursing program, the welding program would be part. So kids that get indicators in those ways that meet a certain metric, we would get credit as part of our accountability rating. And it was a different amount, depending on where we landed in the different domains. But it's a pretty good chunk. It counted on the federal side, counted on the state side. So we were, I want to say 63% of our kids got it 2 years ago, 58% last year. It was actually lower. But we were close, to having probably a B in that area. And so that would factor in, and we had been getting an A. Well, the state came along and they said this year that 65% was really kind of average. So that now is a C. As far as the campus level, we're going to work on our CCMR indicators and making sure more of our students get a CCMR checklet, check. That's something that we're working through. We have like a multi-tiered approach. We're going to give TSIA again to all juniors and to seniors. The district is working on some incentives for kids to take those seriously. I do think one of the things that hurt us is that after COVID, the narrative was spun that SAT doesn't matter. And it really does, especially for kids that, are looking to get scholarships, going out of state. I think people take the SAT school day and they're kind of like, meh, it doesn't really matter. What they don't know is how much money they might be leaving on the table when they could have done better than they did, thinking it doesn't make that much difference. So that's one thing that I think hurt us. Plus, too, it wasn't a big focus for the district or the campus because we were pretty highly rated in that particular metric. We really didn't have control over the fact that metric was going to change. Why this will hurt us 2 years moving out is because what's done, this is what they call a lagging indicator, it's done. So the 58% from last year's isn't going to show up in this year's rating. It actually shows up year after next. What will be rated on this year is the year prior, which was 63%, and that is no longer an A rating, that's a C rating. So 65% is C, so we were under 65%, so we would be D. So the rating that we get this year, that piece will factor in. What we don't know is how much it will factor in because there's different ways that they can calculate it depending on STAR scores. The STAR score piece is the piece that the state has not decided. STAR changed. STAR is different than it used to be. And so they're kind of still deciding on the scale, the ranking scale, like what your score kind of is on a sliding scale as far as ratings are concerned, and they haven't decided what that scale is yet. So that's a big piece of the rating system that the state hasn't landed on. But we can say for sure that CCMR is going to hurt us. But we do have plans to get our senior class up to 90% before the year is over. And the district's also working on some incentives that have not been announced yet that I think people will be happy about. Hopefully, we'll be able to give people multiple opportunities to get their CCMR indicators met. And that's good for kids because basically what it comes down to is that you're ready for a career. You're either certified in something that will get you a job, or you're prepared to go to college, or you're going to join the military. So we're just going to work a little harder on those metrics.
These new changes have a profound impact on educators across the state. Michelle Hearn, an educator, gives us her thoughts.
I don't think that the standards are going to help improve schools because these standards don't assess students who are below grade level and who improve several grade levels, but they're not to their required grade level. So if you have a student who started off on a first grade level and they're in the fourth grade and you get them to the third grade level, the standards don't account for that. And so I don't think that helps whenever you're looking at how teachers are moving the needle, but there's no way to measure that. So I don't think it's going to be helpful. I think the new system is not going to help schools. I don't think that it's a great system because funding is tied to the new system. And so whenever you're decreasing funding based on student performance, but you're not taking into account how much students have progressed, that's not helpful. And schools could lose funding, even though they are doing a really good job and they are closing that achievement gap, but it does not, it doesn't account for that. And so then students could, or teachers could lose funding and schools could lose funding. So I don't think that it's great in that aspect.
Many speculate that this move by the TEA is just another effort to push vouchers into Texas public schools, which has been a very hot topic in the last Texas legislative session. Angie Beto, Chair of Public Schools First McKinney.
I believe that the new accountability rating system established by the state is definitely a method to politicize public education in our state. I think if you take a look at the new accountability ratings, so we have A through F scoring system that the TEA bestows on our school districts, and that is a result of standardized test results like the STAR, ACT, that kind of thing. It's a result of the academic growth per year over year. It's a result of graduation rates, and it's a result of career after high school, meaning either college or military service or career-centric. So I think that if you take a look at the big picture, we see that at the same time the state has moved the metric unfairly, in many people's opinions who are educators. I feel like the goalpost was moved mid-year, meaning the metric for the college, career, and military piece was moved from 60% to 88% to score an A. So, and those changes were made mid-year. You also look at the fact that the STAR test has been changed, where it has this year gone to all online, all digital, and it is more open-ended, where there's more writing and more opinions allowed, which I guess could make the test more subjective. So when you look at these changes, at the same time, our governor is holding our legislators hostage, saying, unless you pass vouchers, I will not consider a raise to my teachers. It seems to me, and most public school educators, that this is an effort to make our public schools look bad.
This has been Aiden Lewis reporting for MHS1.